Healing Wisdom is made possible by members like you and sustaining members like Michael Brabowski. You can become a sustaining member of WOMR for as little as $15 a month. For more information, call 508-487-2619 or visit our website at WOMR.org, where you can learn more about legacy gifts and planned giving. You're tuned in to 92.1 WOMR FM Provincetown and 91.3 WFMR FM Orleans, the voice and spirit of Cape Cod. I bid you welcome to another episode of Healing Wisdom. I'm your host, Pandora Peoples, chartered herbalist and psychic medium. Healing Wisdom explores mind, body, soul connections as we discuss the healing effects of the arts, metaphysical concepts, intuition, and the spiritual aspects of everyday living. Healing Wisdom begins in the heart. Our theme music is provided by Mystic Pete. Hey out there. Today we're talking about how we heal. So I'm really excited to have you here with us, Raa'na, and you're a mother, a Holy Fire Karuna Reiki master teacher, an initiate of the Temple of the Womb priestess under the guidance and mentorship of Reverend Hayes. Hawk. Welcome, Raa'na. Thank you so much for joining us. I know that we have a lot in common because we've been doing this whole spiritual practice and working in ceremony for a long time. You 17 years, me about the same. We've seen it grow. We've seen the whole industry grow. Popular, like Queen Afua has made a big sort of splash in the news and working with celebrity clients, and people are, tweeting all about this kind of stuff. So I'm really happy to be here with you talking about Reiki, and you're a Reiki teacher, and you have so many people who are so excited to have learned with you. So welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. It's so beautiful to be here, and I'm honored. Thank you.
How did you cultivate or start your whole passion and love for Reiki?
Well, it started for me pretty early on. I was just starting to wake up to my own divinity and the idea that there was just something more to life than what I saw and was conditioned to believe. So for me, it started off with body work and massage and realizing there was like something more coming out of my hands. So I looked up energy healing and Barbara Brennan's School of Energy Healing and things like that. And that basically led me to Reiki. And once I got attuned to Reiki, once I started learning about it, it was life-changing. It was like this whole gateway had opened up and all these beautiful experiences. I just knew that this was part of my life's mission to open others up to this experience as well. And also just the notion of that we have an innate ability to heal ourselves. And so that's where my journey began back in 2004. And I never really looked back. I was very fired up and was very passionate right off of the get-go. And I completed my Reiki master training within that very first year. And then I went on to begin practicing and teaching. And of course, in the beginning, it was slow and gradual, as many people hadn't heard about Reiki yet. But I just kind of kept persisting at it. And just through my life journey as well of then becoming a wife and a mother, Reiki being one of the main avenues that I healed myself during, postpartum and just the transition of being a mother. It's like a new phase of life and a rite of passage all on its own. And so Reiki was very helpful in that. And so once I navigated those first few years of motherhood and healed myself, there was a lot of healing that needed for myself to happen as well. I was able to open up my services to others as well. So I've been professionally practicing and teaching since 2017, more open to the public, and the momentum has just kept building. And I've just been teaching since 2019. I've been teaching Holy Fire Reiki, which is when I myself went into the lineage of Holy Fire Karuna Reiki. So it's been an amazing journey and life-changing. And I know that it's been life-changing for others as well. And I'm just humbled and happy to be here.
So can you talk about your lineage and how you first heard about it and how you got into it and how you teach it?
So I started off with Usui Reiki, with Usui Tibetan Reiki. And for the first 15 years of my journey with Reiki, I was completely content. I didn't feel like I needed to do any other kind of lineage or really even get involved in other modalities. I really felt like Reiki was a very simple and easy to use tool. And I needed to focus on that and really just hone my experiences with that. And so in 2019, actually in late 2018, I started to feel a need to upgrade that energy a little bit. So I felt like a completion with the Usui Tibetan lineage. And right about then, I had started to receive emails from William Rand and his school of teaching, which is the Holy Fire lineage. So he started teaching in the Holy Fire lineage in 2014, which is when that energy arrived to the planet. And all of a sudden, it started to look very attractive to me as well. And it started to look very sparkly and it started calling me in. So I opened myself up to that. All my guides and synchronicities were pointing me in that direction, saying, yes, that's what you need. So I signed up, I committed. And maybe, once you commit, the healing and the journey begins. So just, as soon as I signed up, I started having healing experiences that led me to believe that that was a good decision. And upon training with William Rand in March of 2019 into the Holy Fire Karuna lineage, it was definitely confirmed that that upgrade in and energy was exactly what I needed to keep moving forward. So the Holy Fire lineage is a lineage of ascended masters, and it brings with it a more refined, finer quality of Reiki, which goes much deeper into our psyches and brings up a lot of deeply repressed experiences, memories, trauma that are ripe for healing. And there's, many more other things about Holy Fire Reiki that are amazing, but that's one of the main things. And so that was very attractive to me. And also the fact that it's a dynamic energy, it keeps evolving, and the practitioners and masters that use it as well continue to evolve with the energy. And so I like that it doesn't get static or caps off at a particular place. And the way I teach Reiki is in a prolonged format. So I teach Reiki 1 and 2 so that 3 weeks each. So Reiki 1 is 3 weeks long, Reiki 2 is 3 weeks long, and the Reiki master classes are 8 weeks long. And this prolonged format allows me to take my time with the material, wherein it's more easily absorbed and integrated by the students as well. There's no burnout on either end. And I feel it's more of a supportive experience for the students to have more like a school and an academy sort of experience around the classes rather than a quick workshop, which has its own place. And I definitely have taken part in that as well. So, but I do prefer a longer format, which is more conducive to learning, integration, and also the healing that happens in these classes is very deep. And I like to be present and available for that as a support.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the more we can work with what's coming up for us personally, the better healers we are. So we need to integrate the wisdom as it comes to us, and as our ability to heal opens up, so it can be a very intense time. I mean, yoga trainings can be the same way. It can bring up a lot of stuff as you're sort of sweating and detoxing and expelling. It's kind of the same thing. So my understanding is that I've been trained in the Usui tradition, and my understanding is that it has more shamanic Tibetan roots, that it started off and it kind of got pared down by the time it got to Japan and then to Hawaii. It kind of lost even more of its like initial kind of more earthy, kind of more psychological, more like I really appreciate. I think for a lot of people, Usui Reiki has a very just very friendly, light, very upbeat vibe, but different types of other healing modalities can feel more like they get in there. You can really like kind of feel it through your whole body. depending on how people are receiving the energy. So you're focused on empowering people to understand that they're the healers and that we're all healers. So can you talk about this birthright?
Yeah. So, we all have this innate birthright to be able to heal ourselves. We all are vibrant beings filled with life force energy. And this life force energy, the way we cultivate it, the way we move with it, we can absolutely heal ourselves with it. And of course, Reiki is an intelligent life force energy that comes from a higher dimension, and combined also with the earth energy, which through our own bodies, which is the bridge of light, we provide to, in service of healing. I just like to emphasize for my clients and students as well, which, I like, my ideal client is the one that becomes a student, is that I am not someone that's going to heal them. I bring in this life force energy in a magnified way, in an amplified way. My force field is catalytic. And just by being in this force field, whatever they are ripe to heal, they are able to heal because they have said yes to the healing. And they're there willingly, they're there to do the healing, and the energy goes, yes, let's do it. So just to let them know that my role is to hold space for their healing, to bring through this amplified life force energy and fill their bodies with it. And then their bodies, all they do is relax and do what they need to do. And whatever is right for the healing, heals. So miracles are possible. Complete pain relief is possible, like shedding years off your life. All these things are possible. Like healing cancer is possible, but I am not someone that can control that or guarantee that. It's up to the person's journey, their healing, their guides, what they have said yes to, whether they're done with their lessons, it's all a combination of that. And so whenever someone's there for the first time in front of me, I say, I am not your healer. You are the healer. I am here to hold space for you and give you this amazing energy, and you're going to do the healing. And so they're like, oh, okay, cool. I can sit with that. All right. So that's my take on empowering others to heal. And then I also give them tools after the Reiki session, like, how to take care of their chakras and how to keep things in balance and not take on any new entities and things like that. So I try to empower them with as much information at the end of a session so they can keep it together.
We don't have a lot of language around holding space and helping others by facilitating, and all of the sort of energy and work that entails, like to sort of honor your own role, but then also for people to understand the receptivity and the spirit work, the mental work, the emotional work, all of these different levels that need to be present. And a person can be somewhat resistant, but they're still, and grappling with the different layers of them that are wanting to hold on to the old story or the old pain, the old illness, whatever is going on for them.
Habits, the addictions of, the people dynamics that we have. We want to heal, we want to let go, we want to feel better, but then we're also like addicted to the past and the pain, so it's a problem.
And I think it comes down to this, just being in the present moment. Because if they're really, really there and really have set that intention, or really, how people can open and close, like the same person can be receptive and not receptive and receptive. So it's like when they're ready to be there with you and be really totally present and open.
Yeah.
To be I think it's a remembrance of who we really are and what we're really about. Yeah. And it's like the world is full of contradictions. We're really fully embodied, and we need to honor that and understand that. But there's also so much magic within in terms of our spirits and our will. And we're kind of taught out of that as if it's not a scientific perspective, when there's so much behind that makes sense, So.
Yeah. Knowing and deep remembrance, also like so much shedding of the conditioning of society. We're so conditioned to be a certain way, to go, to produce. It's like we have all these stories about just relaxing.
And just conquering our own fears, like It's just so much stuff can come up for people around their own healing, their lovability. Do they deserve to be happy? Do they deserve to be comfortable? Do they even want to?
There's
I
so
was
many layers. Yeah. It's so complex.
So can you talk about your art? You're a painter and you do resin work.
Yeah. So I got more into, I've always been artsy and crafty, but I got more into it a few years ago, and it really blossomed with this online class I took with Lindsay Arnaud. She's the color alchemist on Instagram. And her classes allowed me to really tap into a beautiful realm of color and basically intuition, accessing my intuition in a different ways, which allowed to really bring in all the colors into my life, which really was a catalytic effect to get my creativity on track and everything. So very grateful for that. And part of her, the way she teaches is to infuse the canvas with affirmations. And so that's kind of where it started. And we would write affirmations on the canvas. So I started to include Reiki symbols on there and my own symbols. And I would, charge the canvas with Reiki. Then I would charge all my paints with Reiki. And so I started doing that. And so all my supplies are charged with Reiki, all my canvases, and the symbols being on the canvas themselves are always emanating the energy of Reiki. So I just put the painting goes on top of the symbols and covers them up. So they're not visible, but they're always emanating the energy. So, everything's done intentionally, and the art itself is very inspired and intuitive. A lot of my inspiration comes through from my guides, my galactic guides, the angels, nature, and the resin work too. I started doing resin a few months ago, which is very inspiring and colorful as well. Gets me very excited. And I just charge every layer of that epoxy. There's many, many layers that go into it. And every layer that gets charged, gets mixed for like 3 to 5 minutes. So while I'm mixing, I pray, I meditate, I amplify my light, and all that's going into the resin. And I'm always in a great mood. I'm always joyful and creative when I'm creating. So all that goes in there too. And I feel like people can feel it in the art. The art is radiant. A lot of energy attuned folks can feel it, they can see it, and that makes my heart sing with joy. All an expression of life and creativity. It all just kind of oozes out.
Absolutely. So how can folks find your art? You have both your Reiki trainings and also your art.
So Instagram is the best way right now. I have Touch of Light Wellness is my Reiki handle, and Touch of Light Arts is the art page. I am on Etsy as well, and you can just find that through the Instagram profile.
I would love for you to talk a little bit about sisterhood, whether you specifically want to talk about our wombs and healing, the healing that is kind of in the zeitgeist in terms of the spiritual movement, because now you're even hearing about it on morning talk shows. So it's like, whoa, it's like cool to talk about, or it's safe to talk about it. More people are getting exposed to these ideas, which is, I think it's a kind of expansion that needs to happen.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think that's awesome that all these ideas are going mainstream, because that's it. We want everyone to heal. So, you know, my whole goal with Reiki, my mission in life is to attune everyone to Reiki. Like, I want at least one member in every household to be attuned to Reiki. It's like, hey, you have Advil in your cabinet or whatever. You have, uh whatever it is. It's like at least one person has the gift of, healing in the household. So I'm all for mainstream, you know, making these concepts mainstream. As far as womb healing goes, my main message with that is our wombs are a sacred place. The womb bearers have a sacred portal, and this portal is connected to our intuition as well. Our third eye and our womb sacral are connected. And in order for us to be aligned and vibrant and intuitive, our womb needs to also be cleansed and clear and healed in order for us to be that way. And the thing about women and wombs and the whole bowl shape thing in our bodies is that, we like to put things in it, things that are not ours, things that don't belong there, basically all the crap. We're like, oh, look, guys, we have this bowl. We could put everything in it. Just give me your crap. I'll put it. You don't have to worry about it. It's right here. We just don't even have to look at it. It's not, it's there. And what we don't realize is that every time we put something there, it's putting a boulder in our sacred space that's blocking the life force and, dimming our shine bit by bit by bit to the point when we get ill, and then that takes its course. So I feel like we do sponge up pain in order for others not to feel it. It's just like a nurturing thing that women sometimes do. I guess we're conditioned for that. So my thing is, we need to stop doing that. We need to, first of all, cleanse our wombs, be like, okay, fear, you don't belong here. Anger, you don't belong here. Shame, you need to leave. Anything that is not love, creativity, fertility, creation, joy can go now. It's out of here. And the only energies that get to live here are love, creativity, joy, creation, fertility. And just affirming that over and over, taking care of our womb space, not allowing those lower frequencies back in, also taking care of our physical wombs, whatever that looks like for us, with yoni steaming and yoni eggs or whatever. We need to take care of this very precious space, and fiercely sometimes, depending on the environments that we're in. And so that's the first thing. And then when that happens, we then maintain our space. We then keep our womb intact. And however that looks like for us. Sometimes a womb, waist beads are helpful. They're like a nice reminder around our waist that this is a sacred space. Nothing enters here. Nothing that I don't want. So, just little reminders like that, ritual ceremony to remind us that we, the womb bearers, have an important place in society as we birth life, as we birth creativity, as we shed the gunk from the collective every month. We do that for everyone. We do that for ourselves. We shed and then we renew. And that's a very important and powerful role that's forgotten, in the blood mysteries. And it's important for our daughters and our young ones that have just entered that rite of passage to be reminded that this is sacred, this is beautiful, fertile blood that we must revere and honor and not shun and not, be so upset when we have our cycle every, we're cursed and all those conditioned ideas. We need to rewrite them into the fierce priestess, goddess, mother, fertile, all-knowing great mother, feminine mystery energies, and to empower our young ones as well, that they are, full of this rather than like brokenness or something that's wrong with them, or, things like that. So that's what I feel passionate about with the womb healing. And I incorporate that into my Reiki sessions as they come up. And I would love to do rites of passage ceremonies for young girls that are just coming into their moon time, things like that. Calling it in.
Very cool. Thank you so much for being with us on Healing Wisdom today, Raa'na Darahian. You have a lot of wonderful things to say, lady. It just yes, all the junk, all the relationship stuff, the abuse and a lot of unconscious relationship stuff, like women giving more than they feel that they should. There's just so much conditioning around women's sexuality, and there's so many thousands of years of patriarchy, and it can be really hard in that to even know, it's hard to know, I think, especially for young women, what they really want. Maybe for younger generations less, but I think because they're being messaged and conditioned in a better way generally. But I mean, even some of the classic anti-women's sovereignty and autonomy and demonization of women's sexuality or girl sexuality, and not even sexuality, just like existence, like just our bodies not being perceived as our own, or just sort of this people being ripe to project things onto girls and women, and it's been institutional. So we have a lot of work to do to reclaim our bodies and our wisdom and our knowledge and our power and our love.
Mm-hmm. True. Yeah. And I'm here for it. I'm here to support my sisters and whoever wants to show up for the work. My only thing is I won't be pulling you in, kicking and screaming. You got to show up yourself. So I'm Touch of Light Wellness on Instagram for Reiki and Touch of Light Arts.
We've been speaking with Reiki Master Teacher Raa'na. You've been listening to Healing Wisdom, a Thursday morning weekly show featuring guests who share their journeys and expertise, providing us with food for thought. I'm your host, Pandora Peoples, Reiki and shamanic practitioner. You can find Healing Wisdom podcasts at WOMR.org or on Facebook and Instagram pages. We're listening to O Mashe Bello from Alessandro Esposito. You can find his music at soundcloud.com/Alessandro-Esposito-10.